What's going on, guys? We're back with another podcast. It's Robbie, Austin, and Doug. Sorry for the little bit of break, but we're here to talk some NFL draft. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I felt good about the Colts draft, but for anything, Robbie, I think you owe an explanation. As to why we took a little bit of a break. Where were you?
Yeah, so I took a nice trip to Portugal. It was a lot of fun. Visit some castles, some just walked around the city. I did see a soccer game out there, it was really cool to get like the European like soccer
Yeah.
experience, and like I ended up in a crowd like where they were shooting off flares and stuff, so that was pretty cool.
Were you
Um,
struggling to breathe at any point?
I wasn't. I just
Okay.
luckily it wasn't that much, and I just seen a bunch of people standing there, and so I stood there for like an hour, and then hundreds of other people started piling in. I'm like, oh, I think I'm in the right place.
It looked like
And
you were like in the thick of it. Like
yeah,
I
I
couldn't
was
see
next
the
to like the
field from
ultra
where you were.
fans.
It
Yeah,
looked crazy.
it
So,
was.
solo trip to Portugal. What made you pick Portugal? Like of all places, just that's
I
just the one
just
that
I don't
stuck
know.
out to
Like
you.
I'd always just been curious. I'm like, oh, Portugal. They speak almost everyone speaks English there.
Okay.
Seems easy to navigate, and it just seemed like a nice area. Some cool history. So I'm like, I'll give it a try.
Did you know who was playing in the soccer game, Robbie, or you just showed up?
Well, yeah, I knew because they're the team in Sporting CP. They're in Lisbon, and they actually have like a star forward, Guilherme. He's a beast. He actually dropped a hat trick, and
Oh
he's gonna
wow.
like get a huge transfer like to Arsenal or something this upcoming summer. So it was cool to see him in action. I always buy a jersey if I'm going to like a game like that, like for my
Yeah.
collection, and I bought his jersey. He dropped the hattie,
Oh,
so
Wait,
that,
you
that
just
was
bought it like a bootleg jersey in the streets?
no. I bought
right
like the
at the stadium.
official at the team
Oh,
shop. Yeah,
okay.
because I bought when I was in Europe the last time. I bought the Mbappe jersey. He dropped 2 goals
Wow,
when I was rocking. it.
that's
So
pretty cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
do me a favor, Robbie. Text me whose jersey you buy so I can bet them to
I
score.
guess so.
That'd be great.
You might have to.
Yeah, that's cool. I can't imagine myself taking a solo trip, but I get like the appeal of just like you do whatever you want on your own time. Like you're not worrying about anybody else, just doing what you want to do. So that's nice.
Yeah, Robbie,
Yeah.
next time you gotta invite Stin on the two man.
Hey,
That's cool though.
Yeah, that's
All
really
right, well,
cool.
yeah, this week obviously big for the NFL draft, and as you guys know, I'm a Colts fan. Uh, we got our guy. We got our guy. I could not believe that Tyler Warren made it to 14. I thought we were gonna have to trade up if we wanted to go get him. The Bears decided to go with Colston Loveland instead, and when that happened, I actually like could not believe it. Like I was jumping up and down, and then also before that, like pick 12, I think the Cowboys had. I heard the name Tyler, and I like dropped. Like my heart sank, and it was Tyler Booker, the lineman from Alabama, and I was like, "It's actually gonna happen." I was like, "We're gonna we're gonna get him."
you guys
But
gotta
I
go to.
saw like the reports after it was like Colston Loveland like was always their guy. Like his comp is Sam Laporta, and they got Ben Johnson now as their coach. So it was like, I guess it made sense for them. In my
Hmm.
opinion, I think Tyler Warren's just a better football player. That's how I would describe it. Like you could say Colston Loveland is like he's he's more polished, but I wanted the big physical. Just he's a football player. Like, that's how I would
Hmm.
describe Tyler Warren. He touches the ball and it does whatever he wants with it. That's where he excels. So I was happy we got him. Um, Robbie, Giants, a very good
Yeah.
draft for them.
Yeah, it was a great draft. I was very happy. Like, I mean, Abdul Carter at 3 was the slam dunk pick. I mean,
Yeah,
they'd gone back and forth, but obviously Travis went at 2, and you get a freak of nature defensive lineman who's just gonna juice this pass rush even more. Like, we were top 10 in pass rush this season. Our line was already nice, and adding him on the edge, it's gonna be nice because you have Dexter Lawrence in the middle, just occupying at least. He's gonna have 2 guys on him every time, Brian Burns is a good edge rusher in his own right. Like he did step up his run defending game this year. So despite being lighter edges, like they've got some explosion. Then Kayvon coming in on the rotation. I'm excited about this defensive line. Like Abdul is something special. Like it's gonna be a fun year for our pass rush and young secondary, and yeah. So that pick was the easy one. The next one was a little bit of a surprise. I mean, I expected them to trade into the first round. I did not expect the Shedeur Sanders fall, of course, but they ended up getting Brian Dable's guy, Jackson Dart. I didn't think it was going to be him, but, there's things to like about him, and, like, I definitely like he's mobile. I think his arm is better than it looked on film because his mechanics are just kind of not great right now, and he's throwing like off platform a lot, and once those things get fixed, I think he'll be able to show off that arm talent a little more. I think he's a great fit for the system as long as he's gonna get to sit behind Jameis and Russ for the year, hopefully, like maybe towards the end of the year get some run. But I think they got their guy. It's who they think is gonna save their jobs basically. So I'm in. He's my guy now. But
Has to be your guy now.
yeah,
I actually liked Jackson Dart at Ole Miss. Like really, well, I bet him a good amount of times. But my only concern for him was just the offense that he played in.
Yeah,
and like
all
that's
RPOs.
Yeah, it's a very cupcake offense for him. But I told Robbie this like. It might have been on draft day that it was like they were always going to pick Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were going to go Shedeur, but apparently, like the rest of the world learned, a lot went on in the background, and we'll get into that soon.
Did you see that Joe Shane's son posted Jackson Dart's highlight tapes on?
I did see that. It was like the week before, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, and it was like that.
He was dropping hints.
It was very much so dropping hints.
Yeah. And he's everything you hear, he's a great leader, like great locker room guy. And he won them over in the draft meetings as well, it sounded like. So I'm excited for, Dable to get to work with him. Like, he's worked, obviously, with quarterbacks like Josh Allen before. I mean, he made Daniel Jones good for a season, which is pretty impressive. And, so I'm excited for, what we cook up. I mean, the rest of the draft, I thought we absolutely smashed as well. So I'm excited about this upcoming draft class. And it's definitely nice. It's exciting when you get a quarterback in. And, it's especially exciting when you have the number 3 overall freak of nature defensive lineman coming in to terrorize quarterbacks.
Number 11 Penn State. He's going to be he's going to be a monster.
And it's crazy.
Falcons.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Could not tell you who they drafted. I'm sure it was some defensive guy. Okay, because it was no one like I could remember. But what I will say, and we'll obviously circle back on the whole Shedeur situation, but I think that entire watching the draft, I was very surprised because the entire time, it seemed like the past months, it was like Shedeur 3, Shedeur 3, Shedeur 3. And then like that little shift towards it happening, they're like, oh, could be Jackson Dart. Oh, well, Shedeur has these issues. And then like he just keeps dropping. And I remember I saw Dylan Gabriel get drafted. I was like, where did Shedeur go? And they're like, he's still on the board. And I'm like, and then it's who else got drafted that was before him? Jalen from Alabama, right?
Milroe.
Yeah, I was like,
went early.
Yeah, I was like, so I was just very taken back by that. But I do think the Giants, they killed it, and I also think low-key Travis, I think, was the best overall player in the draft. But I think the Raiders getting Genty, he is probably one of my favorite running backs in a while. Although the running back position is not very long-term in the sense of, like, they're very disposable, right? Like injuries and stuff like that. Not many guys stick at that RB1 position for a super long time. There's not a lot of McCaffreys or Saquons, right? A lot of these guys are kind of circling in and out pretty quickly, and I think Genti is going to be someone of that caliber. I think his running style is insane, and I think he's also he stands up like pre-snap, like he's just like a menace, and I think it's going to be so exciting for him to watch him play. And who they have? They have Gino, right? They have Gino at
Yeah.
QB.
Gino's gonna cook.
Jacoby Myers still, right, at the
Brock.
Brock. Like they're just that's what I was very happy to see the Raiders get them, because I'm like, that guy's a generational talent. This was a very unique class, I think, and I think it's going to be exciting to see this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting class because it felt like the number one selection was just like very underwhelming. Like Cam Ward, I like Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward's good, but it's just like
But if
he wasn't the best,
but
best
if you're the
prospect in the.
If you're the Titans, though, it's like you have Will Levis and Mason Rudolph. It's like you're not going. He's the safest number one pick. Like you need a quarterback. The worst thing that happens, honestly, is he doesn't pan out. Okay, you suck for another 2 or 3 years, and you wind up with the number one pick again, right? And then you just get another quarterback. That's just kind of how I feel like a lot of these teams, like if it's the Browns, like who they drafted Baker and then they gave up on Baker, which actually he turned himself around, so I'm very happy for him. But it's just like you're not going to go wrong picking the quarterback and just giving him a chance. And then if it doesn't pan out like Will Levis, okay, you suck and you're just going to get the number one pick anyway. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. And yeah, I agree. He wasn't, a standout number one. Like, he didn't look like a generational talent to me. Will you guys agree with that? Like, he doesn't seem like. But it's also like, you needed it. They weren't, they just had to take that chance and, again, hope it all works out for them because, Robbie sold some shoes to Cam Ward, so that would be pretty cool if that pans out,
Yeah, it's easy when you're from us from the outside, but it's like they kind of had to take the quarterback. You don't know when you're going to be number one pick again. It's like Cam Ward, he does have like all the potential. Like he can do all the outside the pocket stuff. Has a good arm. Like he has all the traits you want in a number one guy. It's just, it's like they had to do it. But that means the another surprising move we had was we didn't know that the Jaguars were gonna come out and be aggressive and go out there, trade up to get Travis Hunter at 2, which was a pretty cool move to see. I mean, they paid what it would cost to get a guy like Travis Hunter on your team. They paid a next year's first in addition to some other picks, but it was definitely. I mean, when you're getting a guy of Travis's caliber, I mean, it's worth the risk. You could be having a future All-Pro, maybe even more after when it's all said and done. I mean, a guy who can play at that level on offense and defense, like they'll figure out the percentage that's right for him and what situations to get him in. But I like it with Brian Thomas on one side and then him coming in sometimes. But it should be a fun offense to watch, and then defense, they definitely need it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it is going to be really interesting, yeah.
To play devil's advocate to that, I kind of think the Browns made the right play. And I don't know if I love the trade for the Jaguars. It's like, yes, I know Travis Hunter, generational talent, no doubt about it. But at the same time, are they a Travis Hunter away from being anything good? No. Like, the Travis Hunter's not going to come in there and they're not going to all of a sudden win 10 games. And I think the Browns, now getting the Jaguars' first-round pick next year, like, I kind of think that trade made... People were like, oh, the Browns are going to Brown. Like, they passed up on Travis Hunter, the most special player that we've seen in a long time, and it was just, to me, it's like, yeah, but now they're gonna bolster up. They got pick 5. They got who did they
Mason
draft?
Graham.
Mason Graham. Yeah, they got Mason Graham, and then next year they're gonna have probably a top 5 pick again, and probably the Jaguars top 6 or 7 pick as well.
I
And then they
think,
can get a
yeah,
quarterback. Next year's quarterback class is loaded.
yeah. I think I think both sides won because Jacksonville giving up all those picks to Cleveland to get him, like you said, generational talent. And I don't know if they've sorted out, or I know the I think it was the GM of the Jags might have talked about in the press conference about what they see their vision with Travis is. I do think he's going to play both sides of the ball a
Yeah.
significant
Mm-hmm.
amount, and I think what they'll probably do is probably start him. Or this is just me thinking out loud. They might start him out playing both sides a heavy amount and then see, okay, like if he's winded or he, then okay, we'll just keep him on defense longer and less offensive snaps. So they're going to balance it out from the beginning, but they're going to have to see how much he can handle from the start. And I think, yeah, Cleveland getting all those picks, like, why not just load up on picks for next season just to see what that class is, what opportunities presents itself. So
Yeah.
I think both sides won. You get a generational talent on one side, and you get a load of picks on the other. Like, it just made sense.
Yeah, it's good for both sides. Like in that way, it's like you can't really like you see the vision for both sides. It's like it's tough because the Browns like they kind of need a lot, but it's like they got a lot of draft capital back, and the Jaguars they paid to go up, but I think that they're supporting. I mean, you got to support Trevor Lawrence. You paid him all that money. I'm a big T-Law guy, so I want to see it this year. But him and Brian Thomas, like that's kind of an insane receiving duo. Like that's going to be tough for defenses to cover. It's even if it's Travis playing 40% of the snaps, or they'll figure out the right balance. Like they'll get him out there in obvious passing situations on both sides of the ball, obviously, and they'll figure it out. Like it'll maybe be some trial and error,
Hmm.
but I think it was good. The Browns they got Mason Graham still, obviously, so he's a good player. Put next to Miles on that D line, but I think it's a win-win. Yeah, it's tough to see. It might be tough for the Browns to swallow in a couple years if they see if they see Travis just balling out.
Yeah. Pause. Okay. I would also, this just interrupting this real quick, I would like to say this is to the listeners, we haven't discussed this, but I recently found someone who has 17 Paul Reed 101s, and he did say they are available for sale. So I am currently, who knows, maybe next episode or two, we might be adding some more Paul Reed 101s to the collection. But not to interrupt, we're going to continue. I'd just like to notify you guys I did receive a message back regarding that.
That's a W. We love to hear that, Doug.
Yes.
Big things coming.
Big thing.
But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be cool to see, and it'll be interesting. Like obviously, we all play in dynasty leagues, and closer to the season, we might do an episode on that. But it's going to be interesting to see where Travis goes in like fantasy and in that, and then just to see how people react. But it'll definitely be fun to see him out there in Jacksonville. He was going to go to Florida State originally. That's like not too far that's like 3 hours from Jacksonville, I think, or something. So I mean that's got to be cool for him. And then number 3 was obviously Abdul. Then Patriots got Will Campbell at 4, so good to protect Drake May.
Yeah, I think he sounds exactly how I'd want my lineman to sound.
He does.
I will die on the field protecting Drake May. That's the only thing I would want my lineman to say.
Yeah,
Hey.
I mean, I would too,
Yeah, that's you want that kind of dog in your lineman. It's like he said he'll protect him. That he's locked in. He's locked in, and then just going back briefly to Genty. That guy's a beast. He's gonna put up some numbers with Pete Carroll. He loves to run the football, And Geno Smith, he'll open things up in the passing game with Brock Bowers and Jacoby. So it'll definitely be a great opportunity for Genty, and he just looks like such a happy guy. So I want him to just ball out like crazy because he's definitely a fun guy to watch, and he's like a bowling ball out there, and he can just do everything you want in a running back, and can even catch the ball. Got some receiving upside, plus all his amazing can put up all those yards, and he's going to be a tough guy to stop.
Now, Robbie, what are your opinions on the Eagles getting away with it again by getting Jahan Campbell?
It happens every year. I mean,
Every year.
it's them and the Ravens. They always get the draft fallers. It just always happens. There's always some for them. It's always some Georgia or Alabama stud. I mean, it's crazy. They got him at the end of the first. Like apparently it was because of like past injury concerns or something that he fell that far, but. It's kind of crazy that they always end up getting that. It's like it's whatever, but that man Howie he must do some voodoo magic.
He gets away with it every year.
Yeah,
I honestly think they go into the draft without a big board. I think they look at the mocks and they're just like, you know what? Let's see who everybody else screws up on by passing, and
best
then
player
we'll take
available.
that guy. That's just what they do. And I mean. And the Ravens, you're right. They got Malachi Starks. The three players I was like, oh, the Colts might take at 14 were Malachi Starks, Jahad Campbell, and Tyler Warren. It was those three guys, and I don't know how. I just don't understand how these guys do it.
It happens every year. Like Brian Branch a couple years ago, he fell. The Lions got a steal with him. Kyle Hamilton, the Ravens a few years ago, when they got him, I'm like, this guy could have been one of the best players in the draft before he ran a 40-yard dash, and then he fell. And it always seems like it's the Ravens and then the Eagles, like especially. Like I hate it because it's like of course they got Jalen Carter to fall to them. Of course they got Jihad Campbell this year.
Any guy with character concerns is just an Eagle.
Yeah,
it's locking it in.
Yeah,
the Ravens even went and got Mike Green in the second round.
Well, yeah, and like he has like it was more like it was some like allegations that kind of got him to fall. So hopefully those aren't true, but they definitely got they definitely got to steal talent wise. Hopefully, I just hope those aren't true. But yeah, definitely some steals that came through in the draft. It's like there's always gonna be a faller like. There's when people are reaching like based on position or like they'll take maybe a guy like who has all the potential in the world but didn't produce, and then some guy who produces a lot and he might fall.
Will Johnson.
Yeah, another guy like they were concerned about his knee, fell to like 46 or something or.
Yeah, where'd he go? The Cardinals.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we passed on him, and then I think he got selected like 2 picks later.
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, that was really smart of us.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked that we didn't take him, but I mean, I'm fine with JT. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his last name, the kid from Ohio State, but I was staring at the board, being like, "Wow, we're really going to end up with Tyler Warren and Will Johnson," and then we also passed on him in the second round, which is tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes the teams view things differently. It's like it is what it is. But these guys like, I mean, obviously, it's tough to really say. Like, obviously, everyone wins the draft at this time of year. It'll be 1 year from now we'll really see who the real winners are. But it feels like a lot of teams did draft well. Like Doug's Falcons also they gave up a lot. They gave up a first to come back into the first, which is that's a big bet to get another edge rusher. Which I think James Pierce is a great player.
James Pierce.
It's tough to give up another first, but hopefully they're good enough where it doesn't matter. But they got two really nice edge rushers at least, so that should help fix the pass rush. And so I've heard.
Who with their first pick?
They got Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also kind of was falling.
Yeah,
They thought he was going to go top 10.
yeah. And then Pierce, like before the season, he was supposed to be the first pick possibly, but he
Yeah, he had
ended
a
up
rough
falling.
season.
Rough draft process with some like character concerns apparently, and then but he's a good player. Yeah.
You know, I actually I heard like a really funny like quote where it was like, I don't listen to draft grades anymore because it's really all based on how well you emulated my mock draft. Like it's like
I mean, yeah, that's kind of true.
it's really just how well did you
Yeah,
like listen to me. So it's kind
exactly.
of funny.
It's like,
And then I also have a really Mel Kiper gave all time petty move. One team an A+ grade. Who do you think it was?
the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Great, great guess, Robbie. You are correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
An
Yeah.
all-time meltdown from Mel Kiper as he watched.
Oh,
He's in
I
shambles
bro.
watching Shedeur Sanders fall.
On the draft, they were he was chirping. He was chirping
He
some
was
of the
losing his
guys.
mind, saying all these NFL guys don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And
They were trying to calm him down.
yeah, they had to calm down because he was losing his mind.
Yeah.
And you know, I do agree with him.
Yeah.
The Shedeur Sanders should not have been drafted after. Let's see. Yeah,
Dylan Gabriel, Tyler
Jalen
Show,
Tyler
Milrow.
He should not have been drafted after any of them. And like I see the debate for Jackson Dart. I think
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders is better.
I
But
agree.
I see the debate.
Yeah.
And apparently this just all came down to like very poor draft meetings and character concerns. And I saw the story with the Giants was like Dable asked him to what do you ask him to do?
It was like addressing like some like it was like a interception or something, I think, or like it was a play
Yeah.
they're like reviewing a film play or something,
And they were just saying he was really unprepared and whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but my whole thing is like there's a lot of players that have character concerns. To me, to slide from a potential like likely first round quarterback to the 5th round is something we've never seen before. Like
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. I was absolutely stunned. But I will say it did make it really interesting day 2 and day 3 of the draft because it was very like
Yeah.
who was going to take him. At one point, I thought he was going to go undrafted.
Yeah, like what I think is this, like I get it, the character, you know, his dad being Dion, all this stuff, and like to me it was like I first kind of noticed like when he went to the combine and he obviously didn't do anything, right? And he had his hat on sideways and his chains out and like whatever. Like seeming very unprofessional, right? Cuz you know, you still haven't made it to the league. But even after that point, it seemed like he was still like a lock for 3. It didn't seem like this was something until like super recent right before where I think teams were like okay, like we actually like have to draft now. Like, are we going to take this risk? And I think everyone got cold feet and they didn't want to be that team. And I do think that yes, he should have been drafted higher, but I do think the reactions to like from some of these ESPN analysis, you know, people profiling athletes, and it was just like. I don't know. I think some of the comments weren't warranted. Like, I think a lot of race stuff came into play, and I'm like, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely was very interesting, and I was very taken back. But again, it was one of those things where I do think his dad being Dion, and it just seemed like a whole Eli Manning situation all over again, where like his dad had a lot of say in the process that kind of warranted, you know, teams kind of being scared to draft him.
Yeah, it definitely like it's pretty crazy. I mean, it seems like it was like a lot of like teams were just kind of put off by how he was in the meetings and stuff. Like it's crazy. This really, I mean, we know the casinos they're not gonna set a line that they don't believe in, and it was at 8.5 over under. Like a week before the draft, then it shifted to like 21.5. People thought, oh, the Steelers pick, you know, it's right there, it's gonna happen. Then all of a sudden, it's the first round starts to go by. It's like, oh, someone's going to trade up. Oh, the Giants traded up. I'm like, oh, Shedeur on the clock, and no, it was Dart. Keep going. I thought someone else might trade up. We end up getting to day 2. Nothing. Day 2. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm texting Austin. I'm like, what's happening here? We get to day 3.
What am I missing?
Every time the Browns or Raiders picked, I'm like, all right, this is gonna be Shedeur or the Steelers, and no, he kept going. They picked Dylan Gabriel, a 5'11" quarterback who I don't think really has any juice beyond maybe being a backup third string guy. With his arm talent, he just doesn't have that much for the NFL level. And they still let him. They decide, all right, we're going Dylan Gabriel. For that, then you come to round 5. It's like, all right, I guess it got to the point where all that stuff doesn't really matter because you're getting them at such a steal value. But it's like, it seems like it was like a lot of the outside stuff that more so played a role into this. Like I saw some people trying to say it was like on the. I'm like, get out of here. We've seen all these guys that got drafted above have terrible moments. Like it wasn't on the field. I think it's just a lot of the off the field stuff put off these teams, and they just didn't want to be the team to do it. And he wasn't like the level of prospect like a Caleb Williams or like a guy like that to be worth making the pick too highly. But I think the Browns, they got a steal. I mean, they got him in the 5th round. I think he's going to end up, I mean, he'll get play this season for sure. I mean, I think he ends up, I don't think there's Dylan Gabriel unless he shows something that we've never seen before, beats him out on the depth chart. Kenny Pickett's on the depth chart. It's like, you're beating Kenny Pickett. I mean, Joe Flacco probably starts the season as the quarterback, the veteran, started out, but I mean, I feel like we're going to see Shedeur this season, and I'm excited to see. I hope he proves everyone wrong. And it's like, we want to, I know we want to see it just because so many haters. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I heard a lot of the analysts saying that, like, after it got past, like, day 1, it was like, well, now it kind of felt like you were drafting a backup quarterback almost. So it's like, I guess a lot of teams' thought process is like, do we really want to bring in this much publicity, this much like camera, this guy who he's got an ego, to be our backup? And then honestly, even when the Browns drafted him, it seemed like it was almost just like an owner call.
Yeah,
like
it did.
The war room, like Stefanski did not look thrilled to have Shedeur, like draft Shedeur Sanders. Nobody was smiling. They were just kind of like slow clapping, and it was like, here we go. And did you guys see the prank call?
I did see that.
Yeah,
and it was the Falcons DC.
Yeah,
So.
Here's my thoughts on this. Okay, my thought is, why does the Falcons defensive coordinator have Shedeur's phone number? That was suspicious to me because, like, why does he even need it? I think there's something not right in any of that because first, it being the Falcons too, like, why would the Falcons even, like, they're not drafting a quarterback. They have Penix. They don't need his phone number. So unless it was like phone tag and it was like past, what do you mean a list?
They get like a list of all the players' like contact information. So
you're saying that's just passed across the board to all the coaches?
Yeah, probably all the coaches for every team.
Okay, so I didn't know that, but first thing off the top of my head is we don't need a quarterback. The guy's a defensive coordinator. Why does he have that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why does he have access to it? And also, like, the defensive coordinator doesn't need to be calling, like, Shedeur. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't need to be.
No.
So it's just me knowing that now, that makes sense if that's just passed along to everyone. But it was just weird to me. Did I think it was, like, kind of funny at first? Yeah. But after the fact, realizing how messed up it was, like, it really is crazy, especially like wasn't he live streaming the entire thing? Like, that's kind of like insane to me. But I think it's just more fuel to the fire, and I honestly am now rooting for him because to be kind of like passed up on everything, now he's got a massive chip on his shoulder, and now he honestly has an opportunity to like ball out. And if he does, that's awesome because then the Browns got a steal. So I think it will just be interesting to see how it's all played out.
Yeah. Just a brutal organization to go to.
Yeah.
I do like Stefanski though. Stefanski's a
Yeah.
good coach, but it's really funny because like Dion had tweeted in like 2018 that like I would never want to play for the Browns like this. I would force my way out of here so fast, and now it comes back.
At least it's an open situation. Like
Yes, he's
that's
got
what
a
we
chance
like to
he's
see.
got a
It's
chance to
like
win it.
you have Deshaun Watson. His contract 2026 can be at least they're gonna have dead money, but he can be released.
Yeah, he's got
You have Joe Flacco, who's just gonna your veteran in the locker room, and he just has to beat out Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
I mean,
at some point during the season that all the Browns fans are going to be like, just put him in.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be calling for Shedeur.
After there's like
going to be feeble.
3 interception Flacco game or something.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Joe Flacco play. It's very underwhelming. He stinks.
Gets the Giants.
Good guy. Great guy. But that guy makes me want to throw up. When we benched Anthony Richardson, I didn't even want to watch the Colts at that point. That's how bad it got. If Shedeur can't win the job, then it might be a cause for concern. Or I'm honestly going to say that it's a witch hunt, because I don't think there's any possible way that Dylan Gabriel is better than Shedeur Sanders. Like, I think there's zero. No world.
I can't believe, like, Dylan Gabriel went over him. Like, I just don't view him as anything more than, like, a potential third-string backup. Like, it's like he just... I don't know, but some people, obviously Oregon fans are gonna like him, and so we'll see what happens. But it's like Shedeur in the 5th round. I mean, that's just it ends up being a value steal for the Browns, and probably one of the better opportunity places, because a lot of these teams, like, once they drafted their quarterback, they're like, all right, we don't need one now, so it kind of like it is what it is, and. The one that really shocked me was Show going at 40. I'm like, maybe in the 3rd round, but he's a 26-year-old who has one good season, really. This past season, late breakout, 26 years old, 3 season-ending injuries. Like, he has the prototypical size, like the arm, so that's why the NFL likes him. And it's like, I just don't see how you take that guy at pick 40. Like... especially when there's better options available, but
I guess they Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, that's insane.
He's entering his 6th year in the NFL.
It's like 20, like apparently that's worth taking at pick 40, and the Saints. I don't get it. I think that was a bad pick. Like, maybe he ends up getting some play because Carr's, whatever's going on with Carr's injury. But, he's already basically a veteran.
Yeah, Derek Carr is basically, like, check it out. Like, I think they said that he's, like, he might just, like, not play this entire season.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I don't think he wants to be there.
Yeah.
Like, he might just be ready to call it.
But he's got his contract, so,
Yeah, he's happy.
He's just like, I'm getting paid.
This actually brings us to our next segment here. My list. The list of I want you guys to name your top 3 players. It could be any sport that you thought were going to be the guy and then ended up not being the guy. So not like, I'm not talking about like Jamarcus Russell here. Like, I want your opinions of who you thought were going to be really good, any sport, and then just they were not good.
Do you have yours while we think of ours?
Any sport, and it's 3?
Any sport.
Any sport.
Okay. And you said 3?
Yes, 3. I want your top 3.
Okay.
Maybe an honorable mention if you
Man.
if you really can't narrow it down.
I mean, yeah, I could definitely think of, like, with me being a Sixers fan, this is pretty easy.
That is very true.
But, I mean, off the top of my head, okay, I can think of, like, 3 basketball players. 2 of them are in the same class. And, I mean, most of these guys are because of injuries. I will say that. It's not like they just sucked. I think for the most part we could say like there's not many players that like stayed fully healthy and just absolutely were trash. But the top two that come to my mind, same class, and it was a bad draft for as a Sixers fan. The number 1 and the number 2 pick in the 2017 draft class, the Tatum year, Fultz and Lonzo. Lonzo at UCLA, watching him play was like watching like God in flesh in my head. Like this dude was just like pulling up, and honestly, watching him from Chino Hills too, I thought he was gonna be insane. Same thing with Fultz at Washington. Like both those guys dealt with injuries, and Lonzo kind of came back after like being hurt for like 2 or 3 years, but he never panned out. Obviously, because Tatum drafted 3, and then Fultz just with his injuries as well. Honestly, another guy that I thought was going to be really crazy and honestly just hasn't panned out. Actually, I'm going to circle back on this one. I'll let you guys go. I got to think of this third one.
Robbie, what's coming to mind here?
All right, so I thought of 2 just to start with. One was, I feel like everyone thought this guy was going to be good. Marcus Mariota, I thought this guy, he looked at Oregon like he was insane, and thought, for the new NFL mobile quarterback, and it's like he wasn't terrible, right? Like he had some decent seasons, but it's like he never like reached like the level that I thought he would be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and it's like you left kind of a little disappointed, but I'm like he was something special at Oregon. But another one just in recent memory for basketball, I was a big Cassius Stanley guy. I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, this dude's athleticism is just so smooth, and it's just like it never translated to the NBA, I guess, and
the dude could dunk though.
He could throw down. Oh, I was pissed. The dunk contest, they messed with him. They like he had a crazy dunk, and they gave him like a terrible score. I'm like, and then he had like no confidence for his second one after that, and it's like he was gonna win that dunk contest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my number 3 might be controversial because you could make the case that this player is very, very good.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, you know who I'm gonna say, but I don't think that this player reached what they thought he was like going to be. If that's fair to say.
What sport is this?
Yet.
Basketball. It's a certain 6'6" flying man
from Duke. Zion Williamson.
You know what's funny, Stin? That was going to be my number 3, but I had to think about it for a second, so I'm actually glad you brought this up because I'm 50-50 with you on this.
I'm honestly that's why I'm saying it's controversial, because Zion is phenomenal when he's playing, but I feel like they made this guy out to be the next LeBron James. He had face of the league written all over him, and I feel like now it's just kind of like he's on like the back burner almost. Like
I agree, because he probably had the most hype coming out of high school since LeBron. Like obviously the Ball brothers, they did too, and is just like the fact that this dude was doing 360 dunks as a freshman. Like it's just like, yep, okay, LeBron. Like he's gonna be him. I agree. Injuries kept him off the court, but when he's healthy, he's basically LeBron. Like let's not
that's the thing.
So I agree. I think I can get down with that. I can get down with that.
I think Robbie's sick to his stomach.
It's tough because it's like he's so good when he's on the court, and it's like the seasons he's healthy, it's like he had a season he averaged 27 a game on 60% from like the floor. It's like he's so good. It's like I see where you guys are coming from. It's like it's tough because it's like we've seen the heights of him, and it's like he's so good, but he just can't stay healthy. And I'm like I'm hoping he's able to turn it around. But it's like at this point it's tough it's tough.
Because would you say that he is underwhelming versus what he was supposed to be?
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'd agree with that.
But
That's what.
But you can say this about like
Yeah.
I was gonna bring in a football player into this, but I didn't want to. I think Justin Herbert's been very underwhelming because
Oh, I disagree with
he
that.
loves to choke in the playoffs.
Dog.
He
No,
maybe
Justin
has done
Herbert's
that,
dog.
but I don't think he's underwhelming.
He's actually my
He-
flip side. Like
I-
guys that I thought weren't going to
I
be
think
good,
he's
that were
underrated.
phenomenal. Justin Herbert's very good.
He's good, but
you're right.
he's
He does disappear in the playoffs.
He has
So
not
far.
performed well in the playoffs.
right.
So far.
Was this like? But wasn't this presented as like underwhelming compared to like or how? I want to make sure I'm getting this right. What was this?
Well, this is just top 3 guys that you thought were going to be
Okay.
the next GOAT.
Okay.
Maybe
all
not
right.
GOAT, but they thought they were going to be unreal and have not panned out that way.
Okay, so then
You wanna hear my number 2?
Justin Herbert's out of the conversation. That's for a different topic.
Yeah,
Different topic.
A different day. We'll discuss quarterbacks and.
Okay,
I'm
number
a
two.
Herbert
This
guy.
is
Number
awkward
2.
because my number 2 guy is a quarterback.
Oh, is it
Josh Rosen.
RG3?
No, I was not a Josh Rosen guy. This
Chose.
quarterback, now, again, I guess this could also be controversial. You'll hear why in a second.
Oh,
This
gosh.
quarterback, I consider myself a quarterback guru, almost. Not actually, but I like to think that I have a pretty good perception of when a quarterback's probably not going to be great versus when, like, they should be unreal. Dwayne Haskins. Rest in peace.
That's a low blow. That's a low blow. That is such a low blow. That is crazy.
No, because even before Dwayne Haskins had passed away, he was not performing. I was dead set like Dwayne Haskins was going to break the Ohio State QB curse. Like I was dead set on it.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't change my mind, and it's tough because obviously his time got cut short. So I guess we'll never really. I'm gonna take him off the list because we do not know what could have happened. But
I listen. I invested in Dwayne Haskins. I had a select. I had a select tie dye. I was heavily invested. I thought he was. I agree. And then he went to what's that?
DH Simba.
Who's
That's what
that?
he
Is
called
that?
himself. He called him.
Oh, I was, and then he was got the opportunity in, or he was gonna have the opportunity in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, like, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because it's I'm just off the top of my head. I'm blanking on I'm trying to think of guys that I specifically.
I
really
have
liked.
my third one. Or
You
unless
go ahead,
wow.
Doug.
All right, again, it's another tie. I think something about centers getting drafted before generational talents, and I was choosing between this person
Ian?
and James Wiseman. But I'm not going James Wiseman. I'm going 2018 draft class DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton, which, yes, in that class, he was the undisputed number 1 pick. He was dominant at Arizona. Okay. Hindsight 2020, yeah, Luka number 1 all day. But he just kind of stunk. And if I'm not mistaken, he's on the Trailblazers now, which
That he is.
might be even worse living in Portland. But yeah, I thought he was and that was a Zaire Smith draft class too. And he didn't pan out. He did not pan out. But all right, Stin, who's your one?
I'm gonna actually save my number 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna give my honorable mention here.
Okay.
Another football player happens to play on my team. No, it is not Anthony Richardson.
Kobe
Before
Fleener.
you say that. No, it actually is a tight end though.
Oh,
That it was supposed to be.
Jacoby.
Nope.
Jelani Woods.
Bang.
Yeah.
This guy gets
Freak
hurt
athlete.
every single year. Every single year. And every offseason I tell myself, I'm like, this is the Jelani Woods breakout year. You look at him on paper, he's a specimen. An athletic freak. Like, he should be so good. And he stinks. Like, he stinks, and he can't get on the field. It makes no sense. So I've called it quits. We've drafted Tyler Warren. Jelani Woods can back my mind. But honorable mention, number 4, Jelani Woods, one of the biggest letdowns for me personally, honestly, maybe ever.
Oh, I got one.
I have my
This
number
is just an honorable mention one. But
Okay.
I remember Laviska Shenault. I really liked that guy, and I'm like, this dude's like, he was like 6'3", like he was 220, big receiver, yak threat. I'm like, this guy's about to have a huge. I drafted him in that year, in his second year, like in multiple fantasy leagues. Like he was going around like pick 70 to 80. He did nothing, and unfortunately, it didn't pan out well for him. But I thought this guy was gonna be a crazy yak threat, like he was built, but didn't end up working out. I'm like, this dude's gonna be a steal. Did absolutely nothing.
So, you want to hear my number 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
This one is near and dear to my heart. Honestly, I could be biased as to why I thought he was going to be so good. James Bouknight. I was so convinced after watching him at UConn that this guy was the truth. And I was like, oh, we're going to Charlotte. We're going to go hoop with LaMelo. We're going to break out. This is it. And it's turning into get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. Like, he's very close to nearing those overseas leagues. Always had the character issues. Always had was never a squeaky clean guy. He always found himself getting into trouble. But I did not anticipate a picture ever be coming out of him hammered in his car, passed out with a gun on his lap and like a bag of Doritos.
Can I say something real quick?
Oh,
This might be foreshadowing, because Book Night, PJ Washington, Bridges, like all these guys, Charlotte's kind of like bad, like, you know what I'm saying, like that Cooper Flag, if he goes to Charlotte. Could he be the next James Bouknight?
Can we place a curse on Charlotte? Is Charlotte just the place where players just die?
I just think that I don't know what it is, but I
unserious organization run by he actually sold ownership, but I honestly think I have to blame it on Michael Jordan. Unserious owner when he was. I think it all comes down to the culture he sets, which is not great. Absolutely no bias. When I say that, it's all Michael Jordan's fault.
Now, because obviously you do have a little bias with him being from UConn.
Oh, yes.
Do you think this? Well, we can have another separate conversation. But do you like having high expectation for guys that you're a fan of, in the sense of like you don't want to be let down? Like, for instance, we hear it all the time, like in our own conversations, not just on this podcast.
Ball?
With Solo Ball, are you kind of like, hey, you know what? Like, let's just let him go where he go, like, because you don't want to get your hopes up like James and be disappointed, right? Like, do you like think about like anything like that? Just kind of like keeping it like chill and low key and just letting it play out, or you're like, he's the GOAT, you know what I'm saying?
Well, James Bouknight was a little different because he was a lottery pick. I don't think Solo Ball will be a lot. He definitely could be a lottery pick. But I just think that Solo Ball is just going to be a great 3-and-D guy. Like, I don't think he's going to be like a superstar. I just think he can shoot the ball lights out, and he can play really good defense. He's a long guard. That being said, I do think he's going to be one of the best players in the NBA in about 5 years. No bias. Bias aside, he will be one of the best. I won't be let down unless he doesn't play in the NBA.
Yeah, because here's my thing, okay? It's a little different, but me, like, every season, like, as a Sixers fan, I just go into the season with, like, the super, like, lowest of expectations. Like, especially, like, when it was Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George, I'm like, okay, like, I've seen this before. Like, with injuries and all this stuff, like, I'm like, let's just get to the playoffs and not worry about the seed and go from there. And then it's like when I get my hopes too high, and then it's just like, I get mad. So I'm just like trying to, sense like where you, because obviously you're a big UConn guy, so I want to, just feel out what your perspective is on stuff like that.
When it comes to like my teams and them underperforming, then I get pissed off. I think every year the Colts are finally going to make the playoffs, and that hasn't happened. Every year I'm like, the Colts are going to make the playoffs. So this year, I'm just hoping for Anthony Richardson to
bounce
improve.
back,
take the next step.
That's my goal for this season. We don't have to make the playoffs,
Right.
but if Anthony Richardson performs well or shows a lot more of what he can do, I'll be happy.
At least compete towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Now, Robbie, you said, I saw your face light up. You had your...
I remember the guy who I've invested a good amount of money in his cards.
I know who it is. Is it a quarterback? Is it a quarterback?
No. This is a basketball
Oh,
player.
I know who this is. I know who this is.
Mr. Kevin Porter Jr. I mean, I saw this guy. Granted, a lot of this is because he kind of did some bad things off the court.
Hey, what do you play?
Robbie looks up to him not because of his basketball skills. Let's just say that.
No.
Now, Robbie.
He is hold on. He's an absolute bucket, and it's like he was scoring. He dropped 50 on Drew Holiday's head, and I had seen through in college. I'm like, I remember that dunk he had in high school, like that went viral, like where he went behind the back and absolutely postered on the guy. USC, like he showed potential. I'm like on the Cavs. I'm like, this guy's gonna be good, and I started buying a lot of his cards. Then he, had an anger incident there, and he got traded to the Rockets. Starts putting up points with the Rockets. He had some good scoring seasons. Not the best efficiency, but they were a bad team, so got to take the shots. And then he kind of had a bad incident, and he ended up getting basically, they're like, all right, you're out of the NBA for a while. It's like Miles Bridges. It's kind of crazy, though, that these guys, it's like, all right, it's like a year out of the league or whatever, months out of the league, it's swept under the rug, now you're allowed back in. But it's like, I thought he was going to be a star, but he kind of, his off-the-court issues had kind of ate into it. He's balling out on the Bucks.
I was going to say, how would you feel about... If I told you his stat line right now, currently, 11, 3, and 5. Shooting 4 of 7.
That's solid. I mean, he's got the talent. It's like
if he can keep... last game.
Yeah.
It was a blowout. It was never close, but 23 points, 5
He
rebounds.
can score for sure. It's like... And he can play defense if he's locked in. It's like, I feel like he's been doing, good with the Bucks. They might retain him next year. It's like...
Well, now that...
Yeah.
I got one more honorable mention.
Oh, we have another honorable. I should just made a top 5.
Both of you know that I heavily invested. I wouldn't say heavily. I invested in this guy. Okay. I think he was a fifth-year guy out of UNC. Cameron Johnson.
Oh.
I thought Cameron Johnson... I thought they were going to change the NBA logo to him. That dude, when he dunked on PJ Tucker, I was like, yo, this guy.
This is it.
This is it.
It's like the Colin Cowherd moment. Move out of the way, LeBron. We got Ben Simmons now.
We're good. Did I change my wallpaper to that for a good solid couple months? Probably. I think so. And then he got traded in the KD deal, and then, it is what it is. But I was a big Cam Johnson guy, and he just never. He's just now kind of like a role guy. I would say. I think
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, but he didn't live up to.
You didn't mention this guy, Ben Simmons. Or were you never fooled by Ben Simmons?
No. Here's the thing with Ben is like, I want to say so much about Ben Simmons, but he brought me so much happiness.
Oh, okay.
As a Sixers fan until the Hawks series in the playoffs, and then the mental health stuff, and I'm like, you know what, I can't get into, if he had mental health problems, and I can't speak on that. Am I disappointed? Yes, did he beat LeBron several times? And like, you know, in the regular season, sure. But yeah, he let me down, but not as much as like these other guys I mentioned. You know, I thought he was going to be the next LeBron. Yes, I could have mentioned him, and I could add him as an honorable mention. But comparing him to like a DeAndre Ayton or, you know, other people, you know, it's not as much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about Tim Tebow?
Oh, Here's the thing. I don't think there's ever going to be a lefty quarterback ever. That's like the greatest lefty quarterback of all time is Steve Young, right?
Yes.
I think the second best lefty quarterback is probably Tua. Vic. Then honestly, like there's not many.
Tua's on the list of the top 10, which is pretty crazy.
On the list.
Right, and Tua being the number third best lefty quarterback is not saying much. So there's not a lot of success with lefty quarterbacks. So like Tim Tebow never panned out, and so it's just like, I think him getting drafted was just because like he had mad aura at Florida. Like that's
he was pretty crazy at Florida.
He was
like
unbelievable.
He could run the football, you know, at quarterback.
Yeah, if I was avidly watching college football when Tebow was playing, I probably would have thought this guy was gonna be a GOAT.
Yeah.
Like I would have for sure been all in on Tim Tebow.
And it's like in this era, a guy like that, you know, GMs know better, but it's like he was crazy at Florida, so it's like, and you know, it was a fun year that 1 year, like the Tebow mania, like that was a fun to watch. Like I remember watching that. It was pretty fun. But
you know, I was actually thinking of our friend Bob for this question because I think he has the easiest like two choices possible because they're some of the biggest busts I've ever seen. He loved Josh Rosen and he loved Kadarius Toney.
Oh, I was gonna say Toney. That was the one I was about to say. I saw that man absolutely rip apart the Cowboys for 189 yards, get ejected. I'm like, this guy's about to be a star for us. And then
joystick.
His yak ability was actually insane. Like he could bend and it was crazy. Like those couple weeks, I'm like, he had me sold after that. I'm like, okay, this guy's insane. And then he had some incidents and wanted to get traded. We traded him. We got a third back, which is pretty crazy after everything. But I'm like, when I saw that guy against the Cowboys, like absolutely lighting them up, I'm like, I was like, this guy's gonna be special. And then
well, that actually raises me a question for another Giants receiver that absolutely lit up the Cowboys, making one of the most iconic catches of all time.
Oh,
do you think that you could possibly have him on this list?
Here's the thing. Odell was ridiculous, like for his beginning of his career. So I feel like he played at like the level that he was. All these stats that like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson were like breaking these records. They're all set by Odell a couple years before. It's like his start to his career was insane before. Like I hate that we trade. Like I didn't want him. I didn't want to trade him. Like he had gotten injured, and so that's why they ended up doing it. But it's like he was something special. Like those first couple of years, like that was a crazy experience. And it's like I hate that the injuries. Like when that Browns, like he put up 1,000 yards that year. And then he ended up tearing his ACL on the Browns, and it kind of like it went downhill like even more from there. Like some serious injuries. He had the resurgence with the Rams, which I was so happy to see. And then I was heartbroken in the Super Bowl. It's like he was gonna win Super Bowl MVP. You're watching that, like people watching that game, like he was tearing it up. Like he might have not had that, but he was drawing like pass interferences too. It's like, man, it was so nice to see, and it just sucked to see him get hurt again. It's like that's one. It's like I don't know if I could put him on the list because how good he was. Like his first couple seasons, he was that was my favorite football. Like, he might even be still my favorite football player of all time because it was kind of like it was when I was just like
over like, O.J. Simpson. He's your favorite?
That is true.
That's crazy. No, not an OJ guy. But no, like he was just so fun to watch. And it was like when I was coming up, like getting like heavy into football. Like obviously I'd always been into football, but it's like that was like when we're getting older, so we more understand like what's happening. It's like this guy gets drafted out of LSU, and I'm like, puts up 1,300 yards in 12 games. It's like his rookie season. It's like he was so special, and it's like I hate that like the injuries ended up, but at least we got those like he had 3 elite seasons, and then even 4 like another good one with the Giants. He was hurt a couple of years, still put up 1,000 yards, and then had that good year with the Browns as like the first 1,000-yard receiver in a bit, and it sucked to see.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many people got fleeced and lost all their draft stock on Odell Beckham Jr. in Dynasty football.
Oh man, they had to be upset like if they were playing back then. Like this guy's breaking every single record.
No, it's literally like if Justin Jefferson fell off a cliff.
Yeah, like he was that level of guy. It's like it's. Man.
I get what you're saying though, because I feel like for embracing debate, you could say Andrew Luck. Like,
yeah, and it's like there's so many guys. Like, I'm just thinking here. I'll just throw out a couple of names. Like people might say like we were kind of young around then, but like we'd seen like Justin Blackmon, Kevin White was supposed to be like him, Kelvin Benjamin. Like there was some of these guys that were like highly drafted, like that were crazy in college. Like I mean, Justin Blackmon was like off the field. Like Kyle Pitts, kind of like he did have that crazy rookie year, and then it's just kind of been like this guy was supposed to be like one of the greatest tight end prospects, and whatever has happened in Atlanta hasn't worked out. I mean, I feel like he could be a guy who moves on, and then he finds his way. Like Evan Ingram, he had a good seasons with us, but then he kind of struggled, and he ended up in Jacksonville, and he was just balling out there.
Good numbers.
So it's like sometimes change of scenery can always help.
Yeah, maybe Evan Neal just needs to change scenery.
Oh my gosh, that guy needs to. He better they better switch him to guard, or I'm at the.
Evan Neal's a revolving door.
Yeah, he's letting everyone through, and it's like I've heard rumors like a lot of people are like he doesn't want to play guard. I'm like, bro, you're gonna be out of the league if you don't try to switch to guard. He could be a good guard, like Eric Flowers, our last turnstile. Highly drafted pick. I mean, he switched to guard for Washington, and he actually was pretty good. It's like, give it a try. I mean, you shouldn't play tackle unless you are changing everything about your game and get like actually becoming the guy you're supposed to be. It's like you can't play tackle anymore unless something changes. But I mean, he just can't. It's mainly the pass protection that gets to him. Like. He can do things in the run game. He's a big fella, and it's just he cannot match up with these edge guys, and that was one I was like, yeah. I mean, it's tough when you draft a guy that high, and it's not turning out well.
No, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option.
Yeah, they didn't. Picked up Kayvons, who I could say, like, I expected him to be another level. Like, he's still a good player, so I wouldn't put him on the list, but it's like, I expected him to be, more than this. Like, right now, he's not the type of guy, like, I would, extend on a contract, but we have him for the 5th-year option, too, so, it doesn't matter for now.
Now, if Abdul Carter doesn't turn out, would you put him on the list?
I mean,
like, what are your, like? Do you think
I expect him to be like one of the best edge rushers in the league. I mean, Lawrence Taylor's the greatest defensive player ever. So I mean, I don't know about that, but I'm like, I expect him to be one of the best edge rushers in the league. I mean, obviously, he's a rookie, and he gets time, and it's like I think this guy is an absolute freak of nature. Like, I expect him to be like a top 10 edge rusher. I expect top 5 one day, maybe. I mean, I think this guy, like this, there's no ceiling here. We'll see what happens, but I'm like, I have high expectations for him, and I know he's ready to ball out. I like his energy too.
What do you think about him asking for LT's jersey number?
I think, all right, it's like, no, you're not gonna, like, that's actually my Instagram. It's always been my Instagram and Xbox handle, like the end of it, 56. And so it's like, I used to be obsessed with those NFL films show. It's like LT, I didn't realize what kind of guy he was off the field at that age, but I'm like, this dude is insane and one of the greatest players in NFL history. So it's like, all right, you're not gonna get his number. You know, it's cool that you tried. And he was cool with it. He's like, oh yeah, I respect it. I'm gonna create my own thing, but I just, he's like, I had to ask, and it's like, it's whatever. Like Warren Moon gave Cam Moore, but he's like, it's not the same level of of guy. It's like Lawrence Taylor. I mean, I understand 56. Like that number will forever be cemented as LT. It's like. Yeah.
Now, do we want to talk a little NBA ball playoffs?
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get into a little bit of NBA before we wrap it up.
Wait, before we talk NBA, well, we can talk about it. I need to check the score of the next game to see how Paul Reed is doing.
It's a tie ball game right now.
Pistons are down.
Paul Reed, a nice 0-1-0.
Okay.
Oh, and Castle won
played
Rookie
7
of the Year
minutes.
officially.
He's got 3 steals in 7 minutes.
I have an update on the Paul Reed.
That doesn't sound promising.
Oh no.
Oh.
Wait, that's definitely the same guy then?
Yeah, it's the Nebula.
That's the Nebula.
Oh, wait.
I have been given the price list to purchase these.
Okay.
What's he got the Nebula?
How's it looking?
It's a little higher than I expected, but it's honestly not that bad.
Okay.
The Nebula, he wants 225.
I feel like that's not bad.
The black Prism, he wants 200. Also there's the Pen Pals, which is this one.
Mm-hmm.
The 101.
Gotcha.
He wants 200 as well. Obviously, I've been buying these Paul Reeds for like a 120 or under. But I also, like, the Nebula is like, he only has like, what, a handful of Nebulas. So it's
one of his best.
Yeah, it's definitely his best. There's the Onyx, the 101.
How much is that one?
He wants, I believe it's 150 on that. This one, I think he wants 2. That 101, I have the other version. And then this one, I think he wants 3 on.
Ooh, that one's cool.
I would try and get like 3 of them for 500.
Right, so I think the 2 Prisms, he wants basically 425 for the 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think I'd rather have the Nebula than the black, but also like if I can get both of those for like 375,
the pair.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'll probably do. I would ideally want those 2 out of all of them the most, but also like if I can get a 101 for like under $150, like I'll probably do it because there's no other ones available. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll have an update next episode, but that's little intermission to update.
Yeah, and we'll show some recent pickups next episode. I
got one with me right now.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
And I also would like to say, it is game used.
Oh,
that's pretty cool. They don't give us that much anymore.
No, they do not.
Very happy with that one.
Yeah. Well, current NBA playoffs, first round you kind of expect like the Thunder sweeping the Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
Now that series had the potential to get interesting if Ja Morant didn't get hurt. He claims that he figured them out and it would have been 2-2. I'll say this: they for sure 100% would have won Game 3 if Ja Morant.
Yeah.
They were up like I don't even know
26.
They were up a lot.
Yeah.
And Ja was eating them alive.
Yeah.
And I guess you could make the argument for Game 4.
I feel like it would have been 3-1 probably, but I mean it would have been more interesting. But I think the Thunder in the end, like they just have so much depth. Like their defense is so crazy, and they have who's going to be the MVP probably. Shea just it's tough. It's a tough combination, especially the Grizzlies just fired their coach. It's like they put up a good fight in some of the games, but they also lost by like 60 one of the games.
I was gonna say, did they really?
They got absolutely like destroyed.
Yeah.
So
Another series like that with no fight. Cavaliers Heat.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
once they traded
That was
Jimmy,
bad.
yeah.
Yes, I've never seen a worse performance than yesterday in an elimination game.
Yeah. That's the opposite of a LeBron elimination game.
Yeah, I mean they ended up losing by 50.
Oh, the Bucks have tied it up.
There you go. That series, I anticipated this series to get interesting. Then Damian Lillard,
Yeah.
unfortunately, got hurt, and Giannis can pretty much only do so much. That's the Pacers are
Yeah.
actually a very good team, very fast paced, and the Bucks just can't really keep up with it. And again, Giannis can
They're an
drop
old
40
team
points a
too.
game, and it's not going to be enough.
Yeah. He's literally has a 26, 15, and 10 right now. Like, he's been balling
Yeah,
out all the game. It's like he can only do so much, and it's like Pacers, yeah, like you're saying, like the fast pace, like they're an older team. They can't really keep up with this, and it's like I mean, I thought Giannis, but I mean, he is showing that. I'm like, Giannis is gonna show them, and I'm like, but the Pacers are just too fast paced. It's hard for them it's a bad matchup for them.
Yeah.
So that's the tough
Um,
thing.
The most interesting series plays at 10 o'clock tonight. Clippers Nuggets.
Oh, that one's been
That's a
fun.
gritty series.
It is good.
Yeah,
Kind of a sham.
it
alley.
better go to 7. That's
Should go
all.
to 7. My hot takes to the playoffs is I think the Lakers and Timberwolves are going to go 7 games.
Wow. You think so?
I do. I think they're for sure going to win Game 5, and it all comes down to if the Timberwolves can close it out in Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough going down 3-1, but LeBron's
he's done
done
it
it.
before.
He's done it before. Luka could also go nuclear. He's a playoff riser. And I gotta say, like I love LeBron. Ant is it's fun to see a guy with that energy. Like I don't like him
Yeah.
seeing him do it to LeBron, but it's like it's fun to see a guy who's like not afraid of anyone. It's like he's definitely a good player.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
He to me he's more face of the league material than
I
I would say Shea. I would say
I
He's
think
got the
Tatum,
personality,
I think
too.
they're trying to push Tatum as the face of the league. The only issue is like
Aura.
I think Anthony Edwards, like Shea, yes, Shea could be the face of the league. I think though that Anthony Edwards will be the face of the league, but the league doesn't want that because he does have a lot of character issues. As we've seen, he gets fined a lot and all this stuff. So I do think that, especially getting fined for saying like vulgar things to fans, like that's not like Curry doesn't do that,
Yeah, it's
LeBron,
not on brand for them
right.
to push.
But I also kind of don't mind it because he's not like he's just
Yeah.
being himself, and that's how he's always gonna be. So he's not asking me to face the league. He's gonna do what he does, and that's that. I would like to see Shea be the face of the league just because, just to see the Thunder kind of go from like really bad to like where they are now, just based off all solely drafting essentially, would be really sick. I do think he's got mad aura, so I think I would like that. But I think it's gonna be. I think they're pushing for Tatum right now. Once LeBron and Steph and KD are on their way out of the league, I think it's gonna be Tatum. But I do think the Thunder. I can see the Western Conference Finals being like Thunder, Clippers, and I could see the Eastern being. I think the Cavs are going to take it. I think they're going to beat Boston. I think they're going to take Boston this year.
Hey, hold up.
Ooh.
These Knicks are about to take down the
Dude,
the
no,
Celtics.
get out of here with the foul. Merchant Brunson is not going
Hey.
to win you against the
You
Cleveland
put
or
you get OG the right crowd atmosphere around him. He's gonna go demon mode. I mean, I've been a little disappointed, honestly. Like, kind of with how the Knicks have been playing this season. It's like we gave up all that for Mikel, and it's like they've been good. Like Cat's been, he's been balling out. It's like I feel like there's another level to be untapped, so it might be next year. But I believe we can beat Boston. But if we beat them, it's going to be in 7, and it's going to have to be a ratty series. I believe. I mean, I understand from the outside, why you guys wouldn't, but I'm believing my guys, and hopefully they show up ready, and it's gonna be a war. If
I think they gentlemen sweep you. I also think it's crazy to say that this series is over with the Pistons.
No, Paul.
I mean, the Pistons are a gritty team. I mean, I just think we're gonna end up wrapping it up. I mean, it's not over till it's over. We have to close out. I mean, we're down right now, but it's only a couple. We were down last game. Pistons have been a tough matchup. They're a gritty team, and
we've talked about this before. That team.
They've got the
bunch of dogs.
They're gonna eat you up.
Yeah, it's it's not an easy out. Like we're gonna have to go out there and play a complete game.
I mean, you lose this game, you don't want to head back to Detroit.
I mean, we've won both in Detroit too.
Well, you got bailed out.
You
got bailed out in Detroit.
Soft.
You want to tell me that wasn't a foul?
It was a foul, but they were letting him play. They were letting him play that day.
The refs have been letting the boys.
I didn't see anything. But yeah, they've been letting them play at least. And those shots by Cat were ridiculous last game.
Unbelievable.
The fade away, and then that deep 3. It's like, damn. It's like, all right, that's what I like to see. That's the type of stuff. And Brunson, he's always in the clutch. Like, people can say what they want about the free throws. He's clutch. He gets those clutch buckets. He won Clutch Player of the Year for a reason. But yeah, I mean, we definitely gotta, we close out these series. I'm ready for Boston. I've been smack talking my friend Mike a little bit, so I'm hoping they rise up.
You're like the Orlando fans screaming, "We want Boston" right now.
That's a little, hey, Boston, they better look out for the Magic. They could come back on.
What is that series in tonight?
Yeah, it probably does. Over. Yeah. It's probably like a 90, or like a 90 to 120 game or something.
Yeah, they are 11.5-point favorites. They are banged up though.
Hey, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Paulo and Franz.
That's Game 7 when you let the Pistons slide into it.
We got to close out tonight. That's what.
Yeah, you got a tie ball game right now, almost at halftime.
Yeah.
All I know is Cade Cunningham, I think very, very rightfully so, voted most underrated player.
He's a baller.
Super underrated.
It's nice after all the injuries he's had and the Pistons just being a terrible team. It's like it is cool to see them good. It's like he's helped turn them around, and it's definitely. We'll see what happens in the future. I mean, making the playoffs was huge for them this year, though.
Yeah, I don't want to take the chalk pick, but this it really just seems like it's going to come down to the Thunder and the Celtics, just the two best teams.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the Lakers have something to say about it, but we got to deal with Minnesota first, and that's not looking great. So we'll see.
But we have another series to talk about. I mean, we have the Rockets Warriors. It's tough because the Rockets offense just isn't really there yet. I mean, they had a phenomenal season above expectations, but I mean, they probably weren't. The Warriors were probably favored in the series.
Jalen Green.
I'm guessing. Yeah, Jalen Green's having a tough playoffs.
One amazing game.
Yeah, it's been some defensive battles. They've been some low scoring games. There's been some great defense on display, but it's the Rockets, even with I think Steph only had 17, and they still lost. Sengun, I love Sengun, but Draymond Green had a fantastic defensive play on him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say drawing up your game-winning play to go ISO against Draymond Green.
Yeah, not a great idea.
Not a great idea. They're just too young right now. The Warriors just
Yeah.
have that championship DNA. Steph's been around the
Vets.
block for this way too many
Yeah.
times. Like they're gonna win the series for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Rockets make it a little more interesting.
Yeah, at
Like if
least
they
get it
won
to
last
6.
night, I'd be like, maybe they
Yeah.
could get it done. But now it kind of seems like it's over.
Yeah. At least push it to 6. What they've accomplished this season, it's already ahead of schedule at least, and we'll see. We obviously discussed last podcast. Maybe a KD trade in the future, or who knows if Giannis eventually gets moved or whatever the next superstar task out is.
Giannis has got to go.
Yeah. It
Milwaukee's-
sucks because he's quietly just having some ridiculous seasons, and it's like he doesn't even get mentioned for like MVP stuff anymore. It's like,
because they're so bad.
yeah, it's tough, but it's like we'll see what happens in the off season, but
Yeah.
the NBA, it's definitely been, it's going to be the next rounds that are really more interesting than the first round, but the play-ins were fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Robbie, finals prediction?
The New York Knicks versus the Thunder.
All right, delusion.
Crazy.
Doug, you said Cavs.
Yeah, Thunder
and who
Cavs.
else? Everyone's sleeping on the Lakers, I guess.
I could see the Lakers, if they pull this off. That's
If it
a
wasn't
heavy task.
3-1, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, they could come back, but it's like, listen, when it's 3-1, not in your favor, that you gotta climb. It's tough to climb out of that hole, even though LeBron's done it before and Luka has the integrity to do it. There's a lot of guys like on that team that have not been in that position. They can't. Those two guys can't carry. Like,
I think it's more so just they haven't played that many games together.
yeah.
So it's like
And they don't really have a legit big,
Mhm.
No, Jackson Hayes is an issue. Luka's defense is also very questionable.
Yeah.
But
Once
we'll see
they
what happens.
next
Yeah, we'll
year
see.
probably
We'll
is going to
see.
be better, but they could always do some things, but yeah.
I think they're gonna go. I think that series is gonna go 7.
Hey, I hope so.
Guess we'll
I
see.
think it's gonna. I think Luka and LeBron combined for 60 in Game 5 and 6.
I see
then
it happening for
7.
sure.
Then 50 points for LeBron.
All right. But I think we should start to wrap things up, guys. Unless there's anything else you have to say.
I'm
No,
good
I
with
think it's
that.
time I think it's time for Doug to get to the gym.
Yeah, I think so. He's
Yeah,
got
that's
to get in that
crazy.
lab. Quick
Yeah.
shout out: Benjamin Morrison, Xavier Watts, Notre Dame guys, steals in the draft.
Okay.
But
I wanted to get Bebo.
I will say, thanks guys for watching, and
Thank you,
we'll
yeah.
catch you in the next one.
Colts probably going to the Super Bowl.